Even if you have your eyes closed, even if you can't see what's actually playing out on screen, just from that audio sting alone you should know exactly what's going on. Something iconic, something brilliant. The prelude to what I believe is a genuine contender for the greatest game trailer ever made. Metal Gear Solid 2 at E3 2000, our first chance to see Hideo Kojima's then in development classic running in real time on PlayStation 2 hardware. But even if your eyes are open and you are indeed watching, maybe you've noticed something a little different. We've used deep learning to enhance and upscale the presentation and attempt to refresh a genuinely classic piece of gaming history, to liberate it from the shortcomings of its original media. Because here's the thing, owing to the age of the trailer, a good quality version of the asset couldn't be distributed online at the time, nothing that could hold up in the current era. But that's not to say that a good quality version wasn't available. A special DVD of the trailer was put together and released by Konami itself, available only in limited quantities in Japan. Of course, our very own John Linneman had access to this asset, lovingly processed the video and added it to the DF YouTube channel back in 2017, making it the first true 60 FPS rendition of the content available on this platform. But with the aid of AI, with deep learning, we're going to push things to the next level. Topaz Video Enhance AI has access to a number of deep learning models capable of addressing different types of content, and in recent times, a model was added to process interlaced content. Now, the Metal Gear trailer DVD is 480i, and at this point in development, the game itself was field rendered on PlayStation 2. So to emphasize the heavy lifting that the AI needs to do to produce a 4K presentation, I've placed the original asset at its true size here, so the neural network actually has a huge amount of processing to do. With an effective 240 lines per frame to work with, first of all it needs to turn that interlaced image into a progressive scan 60 FPS rendition, and then it needs to upscale that to 2160p. And while the quality of the AI's interpretation varies, well, some of the results are quite spectacular. With the freighter tossed about in the storm, the neural network is able to extrapolate detail into the much higher pixel count, increasing contrast and definition. It will not be trying to re-render a 480i image into a 2160p output in the way that, say, a gaming remaster will. It's different. It's analysing the image and using the 4K output as a canvas for its own interpretation of the original content. And some might say that it overreaches, as we see here when Snake materializes on the deck. But if we pause, it's amazing to see what the system actually manages to pull out of the original asset. Detail on the background that seems almost gone on the original version is presented, and there's additional clarity on the lightning effect and an increase in actual definition with the rain. But as we continue, perhaps the presentation has been overly sharpened. Graphics of the era were more simplistic by today's standards, but as we pull back for our first proper look at Snake himself, the cleanup on the image is remarkable, and as the helicopter swoops in overhead, there's an interesting effect. The AI cannot overcome the limitations of the original resolution. Aliased edges are still aliased, but it can dramatically improve clarity, and this is the key improvement really, and you can see it again here. Notice how the AI reconstructs the soldiers' fatigues, and yes, where edges are smoothed off by post-processing, the AI works a lot better in its upscaling. Interior shots are also intriguing. The clarity increase remains, the algorithm makes a good fist of finding extra detail, and the HUD is also well processed. Simplistic elements like this are easily handled by AI upscalers, as you can see here when looking at text or with the initial splash screens. I was also quite taken aback by how the AI scaler looked to treat the original's artwork splash later on in the trailer. But there are several sections where the original 480i field-rendered presentation produces very noticeable jaggies that would be very difficult indeed to process into anything better. It's worth noting, however, that MGS2 itself, when it finally released, did internally move to progressive scan, though accessing 480p from the game on original hardware wasn't possible until system-level hacks became available. But really, for the best way to play today, well, I highly recommend checking out John's original DF Retro episode on Metal Gear Solid 2 for the definitive word. Running the PlayStation 2 original under emulation on PC produces excellent results. And of course, there's also the Metal Gear Solid HD collection, brought over to Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 consoles by Bluepoint back in 2011. And the good news is that the 360 version runs on today's Xbox Series consoles under backwards compatibility, and it's all pretty much flawless. So this has been an interesting piece of internal research at Digital Foundry, but the use of AI upscaling in the industry is now becoming more commonplace. It's used a lot to remaster textures and to dramatically improve pre-rendered video sequences. There's a distinct AI look to it that doesn't always quite succeed, but this is an emerging technology that will improve over time. But I think for now, that's enough commentary, so stick around to see the full AI upscale treatment for the trailer, but in the here and now. That's all from me. So please like, subscribe, share, ring the bell to be informed when we publish new videos, and yeah, please do consider backing the DF supporter program. I first started to share my experiments with AI upscaling this trailer around 3 months ago now. A lot of our research and testing is shared behind the scenes, and that's all in addition to bonus material, direct access to the team via Discord, and much more. That's all from me for now. Thanks for watching, and well, let's sit back, revisit and appreciate this truly iconic trailer once again.
I stare at the stars and the sky up above.
こちらスネーク、聞こえるか、オタコン。あ、僕だよスネーク、聞こえる。待たせたな。スニークポイントに到着。シャドウモセス事件の後、メタルギアの技術情報がブラックマーケットで密売されたよね。それで全世界にメタルギアの亜種が拡散した。今や核武装国にとってメタルギアは特別な兵器ではない。今回の新型はそれらに対抗するために設計されたものらしい。俺たちは新型メタルギアが極秘裏に輸送されるという情報を掴んだ。今思えば疑うべきだった。シャラシャーシカたちが降下した。これから私も戦争内へ向かう。そっちはどうだ。
情報は制御室、通信、機械室を含め全て制圧。
乗っ取るつもりか。コントロールを抑えるつもりだよ。いいか、あれを奪取したらタンカーを沈める。
誰が操縦を？
VR 訓練を受けたのはあいつだけだ。奴しか手に連中どうするつもりなんだ。奴らの手にメタルギアが渡れば大変なことになる。約束したろ。この作戦が終われば部隊を去る。
いやよ、タイは家族も当然。どこにも行くところはない。
いいんだぞ、ここは自由の国だ。 そうしよう。大佐と共に沈め。
しぶりだな兄弟。
お前は。
そう俺だよ。